Hi everyone. In this presentation, we will look into sensory structure of Penaeus indicus, that is a statocyst. Statocyst is meant for maintaining the orientation and equilibrium. Penaeus do have a pair of statocyst and it is present inside the precoxa of the antennule. The statocyst it is represented as a pair of small white bead-like hollow sac, and this is present, you can see here, it is present inside the precoxa of the antennule. A pair of antennules are present and each antennule do have a single statocyst. So altogether the Penaeus do have a pair of statocysts. Okay. Now regarding the structure, if we see the statocyst, it is a sac-like structure. It is provided with a chitinous covering. You can see over here. It is a chitinous sac-like structure and it is attached to the dorsal wall of the precoxa, right? And it is mounted, the statocyst, it is mounted on a very small stalk. The sac-like structure opens to outside by a small opening. It is known as a statocystic aperture, which open dorsally on the concave surface of the precoxa, and usually this opening it remains covered by a integumentary fold. Okay, a small fold, a thin fold of the integument covers the statocystic aperture. Okay, now this sac-like structure, if you look into, you can see that it is almost like an oval or a spherical structure, and the inside the cavity there is a lumen, there is a cavity, and this cavity you can find a central mass of sand grains. Okay, you can see the this is the what you call the statocyst. This is the cuticular covering of the statocyst, and there is a central mass of sand grains present inside the lumen of the sac. Okay, now when you see the lining, okay, here they have the sand grains inside the lumen. The wall of the lumen, it is lined with sensory setae. Okay, so you can see all around it is lined with sensory setae, and each of the sensory setae, if you look, a sensory setae do have two parts. Okay, the base and a shaft. The base and the shaft. The shaft, it is bent almost at the middle, and they do have bristles towards the terminal portion, sensory bristles towards the terminal portion, right? The here you can see the base, it is attached to the inner lining of the cuticular statocyst. Okay, now the base, it is associated with, or it is provided with a branch from the nerve to the statocyst. We have already seen that. Here you can see each of the antennule, it is innervated by an antennular nerve. Okay, from the supraesophageal ganglion arises an antennular nerve which reaches the antennule on its side, and this antennular nerve, it branches out to give the statocystic nerve which innervates the statocyst. Okay, the statocystic nerve, it branches out, and each of these branches enter a single statocyst. So each of, the sensory seta. Okay, so each of the sensory seta do have innervations from the branches of the statocystic nerve. So statocystic nerve, it branches out and each branch ends in a sensory seta. Okay, this is regarding the structure. Now, what happens, how the statocyst functions? Whenever there is a change in the position of the animal, or whenever there is a change in the movement of water, surrounding water, this there is a displacement created in the sand grains. Okay, the sand grains in the center, it shows displacement with respect to any change in the position of the animal in water, or any change in the movement of water outside water. Okay, this displacement of sand grains, it will actually bring about pressing of these sand grains onto the sensory seta. Okay, these bristled areas of the sensory seta, it gets pressed upon by the displaced sand grains. And this pressing of the sand grains onto the sensory seta, it will create impulses. And these impulses are carried down the shaft to the nerve branches innervating each of the seta. Okay, and these messages, the impulses created in these nerves, it is taken through the statocystic nerve to the antennular nerve, and from there to the supraesophageal ganglia. Okay, and with respect to the messages received, with respect to the impulses received, the brain will respond to it and bring about the equilibrium of the organism. So this will actually help in maintaining proper equilibrium and proper orientation with respect to the external medium. Statocyst, the major function is actually to orient the organism in the proper manner, that is to bring about proper orientation and to bring about the equilibrium. Okay, so this is how the statocyst work, and this is the structure of statocyst. I hope it is clear. Okay,